I'm filming again. Sorry, I had to get the door. My roommate's home, and I helped Mario film something. So there's a lot going on behind the camera, but we're here, right here. So where was I? She was a highly. Hold on. Oh. Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of My Favorite Things, where we talk about things that I love and hopefully you love them too. First things first, I would like to thank my patrons. I'd like to thank James, Michael Hammond, Sean Laurencio, Tim Erin, Tim Hawking, Tim Tucker, and Tom, and a patron who would like to be known as Anonymous. Anonymous, you're a fun guy. If you'd like to be a patron, email me right here, and I'll give you that info. You get lots of exclusives, you get stuff that no one else sees. So, today, on My Favorite Things, we are talking about Pippi Longstocking. Primarily, we're talking about the American film, The New Adventures of Pippi Longstocking, that stars Tami Erin as the title character. Pippi Longstocking was a series of books that later on became a TV series and a film series that I used to catch when I was really young in the 80s. I was always enchanted by this little girl with super strength. I liked that she was always really loyal and kind to her friends. She was never mean, not even to villains.
Shame on you. You know I never turned down anyone in trouble. Remember that time at the stream I gave you sandwiches and pancakes? But even then you were trying to get that case of ancient gold pieces away from me.
Well, Pippi, we didn't think it would turn out this way. If you could just find it in your heart to forgive us, we'll go away and never come back. Never.
Well, here are a couple of gold pieces apiece. After all, it's nearly Christmas.
She's not going to hurt us. I'm hungry. Come on.
Merry Christmas!
I don't know, I like that here's this little girl who knew she had this power, but she knew not to abuse it, ever. She never abused her power. I thought that was pretty cool. They show her adventures in this small town, and she's very new to what we consider normal. I'd like to say she's always open to learning. I remember, it was 1988, I was probably like in 3rd grade, and I saw this awesome poster at school for The New Adventures of Pippi Longstocking. I was fanning out. Let's see, I was 7. So I was watching the movies, the original ones that were like really old. So I'm like, wow, there's a new one coming out. I was very excited. I remember it was in theaters for a short while. I didn't go see it in theaters, but my dad rented it for me on video, and I remember watching it on video. I remember being highly enchanted. There was this really catchy theme song. I love how the movie opens. It's almost like you're going to a storybook. Gets you in the right mindset for this film. This is a children's book come to life that we're seeing. We open on Pippi and her pirate family, her dad, and his crew, and then they get separated. So she ends up in a home that her father owns called Villa Kula. So apparently when they're not pirating, they stay in this house that they own. So she goes there and she makes friends with her neighbors, Tommy and Annika. Looks like they're learning from each other.
Ah, nothing like a morning bath. But Pippi, you've got all your clothes on.
Well, that's because it's laundry day. Well, that's enough of that. There is such thing as being too clean.
You'll catch your death of cold if you stand around like that.
Since when do people die from being wet?
That's what my mom always says.
And there's all these like really cute songs in it.
I put my scrubbing shoes on and I never get the blues on Monday morning. Yeah, yeah.
I like the theme song. I also like Scrubbing Day is my favorite day.
Scrubbing day is a holiday, and the game we play is as wild as it can get. Scrubbing day is my favorite day, 'cause on scrubbing day we make everything get wet.
There's scrubbing the floors, but it looks like little hand brushes now are like on their feet, the little feet brushes, and it's almost like they're skating. They're like gliding on the floor with soap.
Riding on a motorcycle, flying through the air. I don't know what I would have done if they had crashed.
Honey, Pippi got them home safely as she always does. That's what's important. I've got a feeling Pippi would never put those kids' lives in danger.
I've always liked the character of Tami and Annika's mother. I feel like she understands where Pippi's coming from. She has patience for this little girl who sometimes doesn't know any better.
Come in the kitchen, we'll wipe off your face. It'll be all right.
I feel like she's really the mother that Pippi doesn't have.
That wasn't funny, Pippi. Your table manners are atrocious.
Listen, if I promise to practice 1 hour each day, will you teach me all that table manners and stuff?
I'll try.
She's creating havoc. There's this girl. She went up there.
I don't see anyone, you silly, stupid girl.
Also in this film, we have the amazing Eileen Brennan as Miss Bannister, who's always trying to get Pippi into a school for children. She thinks Pippi needs to be taken care of.
I am the welfare worker from the county, and there is a place for you in our children's home, and I have come to take you there.
But I already have a place in a children's home.
Where?
Well, look, I'm a child and this is my home. Therefore, I live in a children's home.
And they have all these adorable scenes. I wish she had more scenes.
Don't.
Eileen Brennan is also from a lot of other films. I loved her in Clue. If you watched her in Clue, she was Mrs. Peacock. Eventually, Tami and Annika's father gets Miss Bannister and the police involved to get Pippi into a children's home. So Tami and Annika decide they want to run away because they don't like what their dad's doing. And the only reason Pippi joins them is because she doesn't want them to get hurt. So it's not like Pippi's running away, her friends are running away, and she joins them because Tami and Annika cannot survive on their own. They do not have those skills, and I think Pippi knows it. But so when they end up back home, Pippi meets Miss Bannister and they actually make a deal. Or she'll go to that children's home.
I mean, this is for your own good. Now, please, just try to stay till Christmas.
Can I ride the fire engine?
And if that's what it takes.
Miss Bannister goes at it in another way. I really respect that character because she's not a villain. She really wants this little girl to be safe. And so while Pippi is at this children's home, it also catches on fire. There are two kids in the highest tower in this children's home, and she goes to save them. And that's when everyone in town sees that Pippi can take care of herself. She's not the most normal child, but she doesn't need to be taken care of. She's very self-reliant. They learn to embrace what makes her unique. Imagine being 7 watching that. That left such an impression on me.
We forget that she's just a little girl. Helpless, really.
Helpless? Pippi?
What I really remember from the viewing of the movie is when Pippi had to leave, and there's this shot of Annika just bawling because like her friend's leaving. And that's when little 7-year-old Ed starts bawling. I mean, I don't think it's a secret right now, but I cry in movies. I really go through a journey with these characters, and then when stuff like that happens, like right at the end, it gets me the way it would get these characters. Yeah, I ended up really like crying for reals when Pippi had to leave, and then of course I felt happy when Pippi decided she's not leaving with the pirates. She's going to stay in this town. She might even go to school, and but most importantly, she wants to stay with the family she created. She wants to stay with Tami and Annika, and and even Miss Bannister. Very very feel good movie. I love revisiting it. The only reason that I watched it a few days ago is because there's going to be a new Pippi Longstocking movie coming out, and I figured, hey, now's a good time to re-explore this classic that I haven't watched in years. And it's always interesting to me when you watch old movies that you grow up on. You revisit it, and it's almost like you are visiting an old friend. Watching this movie to me felt like I was visiting a friend from my childhood. That's always a good feeling. Very, very warm feeling. I hope the new movie does the same for today's kids that it did for me back in 1988. I really loved re-exploring the foreign films that were dubbed into English. I obtained the restored copies of these movies. I was really digging it. Those old films have a style of their own. It's a nice view into a unique world. If you're still a child at heart, I suggest the Pippi Longstocking movie, or, read the books. Thank you for joining me. Special thanks to my patrons. If you would like to be a patron, email me right here. And I will see you next time. Was that a good one? Think?